Do you want to tell stories that reflect who you are, what you do, and how you help your clients? Your life and your business change by telling stories that convert listeners into paying clients? If you want to craft your own compelling personal brand story, stay tuned. Welcome to Biz Success in 15. I'm your host, Cindy J, the Visibility Wiz, and I'm here to guide you as you step into who you are with outrageous confidence. You can get your 9-step checklist for more visibility, influence, and profits at visibilitychecklist.com. Today, I'll be sharing how to craft compelling personal brand stories. So, first, what is a personal brand story, anyways? A personal brand story is a powerful tool for building a compelling and memorable personal brand. It's a narrative that communicates who you are, what you do, why you do it, and how you can help your target audience. It's not a sales pitch, and it's definitely not a resume, but it's a way to build trust, credibility, and rapport. So, a good brand story could go something like this. I lay in bed sobbing and crying my eyes out. I was there for 3 days just with my head buried under the covers. I didn't want to get up because I believed my business was over. It was gone. Nobody would ever hire me. Nobody would never trust me. I was just devastated. And I knew that I had to go back to work at my dreaded 9 to 5 job. After 3 days, my daughter coaxed me out of bed and she got me. I turned on the computer, which is what I had been dreading. You see, I had been invited to be on an expert panel on Huffington Post. This was when I was a divorce coach, and Huffington Post marketed this episode by saying, Certified divorce coach Cindy Holbrook tells all of her clients to find a friend with benefits. I was mortified. I thought, no, 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 that's not what I said. Oh my God, my business is over. Nobody's never going to trust me again. This is the worst. This is a fatal mistake that I made. Just a fatal mistake. I was nervous and I was sort of stuttering over my words. And it's not what I was meaning to say. But whenever I opened up that computer, and I found like a lot of hate mail, but I also had a lot of love mail. And I also got numerous clients out of that episode, out of that interview, because the people that I was meant to serve heard my voice and they understood what I was trying to say. I was trying to say, I tell my clients that it's better to find a friend with benefits than to have multiple one night stands. So, this was a very good personal story for both my divorce coaching, but even as a visibility coach, because no visibility is bad visibility. All visibility is good. The only fatal mistake you can make in your business is to give up. If you give up, there's no coming back from that. If you just say, screw it, I'm done, there's no coming back from that. And you have to start from scratch again if and when you decide to start a business. So, a not so good brand story would be when I was 10 years old. I used to go and I used to like to go to this Ford Park. And right next to Ford Park was the Los Angeles Riverbed. And right on the other side of the riverbed was a golf course. Now, I never had any money to spend at the park for the games, to go swimming, and the different things that buy ice cream, the different things that kids want to do. But I heard the golfers get really, really, really ticked off because they were losing their golf balls inside of the riverbed. So I started going into the riverbed, collecting the golf balls, taking them home and cleaning them. And then I would take them back to the golf course and sell them to the golfers so I'd have money to spend at the park. Now, it's a not so good story because the first story, you can identify with the emotion. You can identify with the emotion that I wasn't good enough, that I didn't know what I was doing, that I thought my business was over, that I just lay in bed crying. You can identify with the horror of being misquoted. So it's a very relatable story. The second story isn't so good because it's not relatable to you. You might think, oh, that's a cute story, but it doesn't invoke emotion in you. And it doesn't really help you get to know what I stand for in my business. So these are a good story and a not so good story. So now we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the 3 different types of frameworks for your story. And there's tons of them. There's tons of them, but most of the people will use one of these 3. The first one is called PAS formula, and it stands for problem, agitate, solve. So the story that I told you about Huffington Post was a problem, agitate, solve. Okay, and so the problem, agitate, solve means that you should first introduce the problem that your audience faces and make them feel the pain and the urgency of it. Then you should agitate the problem by emphasizing its negative consequences, the challenges, or the risks. And then finally, you present your solution and show how it can eliminate the pain and or create the pleasure of your audience wants. So the story I just shared with you, it would follow this a lot more and be a lot better if I would have said, I help my clients overcome all the fears of visibility and show up authentically, bold, and strong. I help them step into who they are with outrageous confidence, right? The second format is called the BAB, before, after, and the bridge. So the before is your current world. The problem exists. So you're going to describe a problem faced by your target audience and how does this affect them. So you can say things like, are you tired of feeling like you're the best kept secret? Or you can say, you have no idea how to get in front of your ideal clients. Do you lay awake at night wondering about how to get clients? Getting clients is such a hassle. What is not getting clients costing you? So all of these are segues. This is the before for what you may be facing right now. So the after, imagine what it would be like if your problem is solved. A world where your problem doesn't exist. How will this solution improve their lives? So imagine having a fully booked schedule full of your most perfect ideal clients. What if I told you to stop trying to find your clients because there's no hidden place, there's no secret closet that they're all in? Your clients are everywhere. And what if I told you that all you need to do is share a compelling message and your ideal clients are going to find you? And that's a lot easier than you going and trying to find them. So what if you had this and you knew exactly how to bring in clients, what to say that's going to attract your clients to call you? And the truth is that there is no one size fits all visibility strategy. The best choice for you is to find strategies that align with your personal beliefs and your values. Okay, so I'm just telling you little things so I could utilize all of these into a story. So the bridge is, here's how you get there. So now we solve the problem. To get clients, you want to be authentic. You want to know what you stand for. You want to share your message. And whenever you have visibility and you know how to influence people to take positive action, the profits are going to come. So the bridge is introducing, it's connecting, it's how you solve the problem. And I'm sure that there's lots of stories. You can think of lots of stories that why it's a viable solution and how it's going to transform their lives. So you could say, working, uh, your product or your service can fix this for you by. So when you work with me, we work on creating strategies that align with your personal beliefs and values. And because they align with you, you're going to find them more fun and enticing, and you're going to be excited to take consistent action. Having a fun and profitable business makes it easy for you to have the freedom that you desire and for you to create the lifestyle of your dreams. Having a mentor that helps you with your visibility is going to help you get there faster. And then you can say, what benefits do they get with the product? You're going to feel more confident. You're going to know what strategies to use. You're going to be spending less time, money, and energy in your business. And you're going to be attracting your most perfect ideal clients. Now, this method, the BAB method, it works really good for blog intros, for email marketing, and social media posts. So the third formula that you can use is the hero's journey. Brands using the hero's journey as a form of brand storytelling, it's not a new concept. It's an easily recognizable format popularized by a mythology professor, Joseph Campbell, in 1949. So since 1949, brands have been using this method. A character goes on an adventure, faces a crisis, and returns home having been transformed by the journey. So in the hero's journey, there's 12 steps. The first step, call to adventure. The hero receives the call to adventure via a message, a dream, or an encounter with a mentor or guide. Step 2, the refusal of the call. The hero may initially refuse the call. Nope, that's not going to work. You know what you're talking about. No, 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 no. And they refuse it because of their fears, their doubts, their sense of inadequacy. And then they meet the mentor, their guide, that is going to guide them and provide support, advice, and guidance for their journey ahead. Then they cross a threshold. The hero leaves behind the known world and crosses the threshold into the unknown. So scary whenever you cross that threshold into the unknown. Step 5, tests, allies, and enemies. The hero must navigate a series of tests, trials, and challenges, often with the help of allies and the opposition of enemies. Step 6, the approach to the innermost cave. And that's the innermost cave is what lives inside of you. And this is whenever you face your greatest fears and challenges. You may call it the dark night of the soul, but it's really facing your fears, your challenges. Step 7, the ordeal. The hero faces a major obstacle or an enemy and must overcome it to continue their journey. Step 8, the reward. The hero achieves the reward, often in the form of knowledge, insight, or a powerful object that helps them on their journey. And then the road back. They're going back home. The hero begins their journey back home. And whenever they do that, they begin to encounter new challenges and obstacles along the way. Step 10, the resurrection. The hero experiences a moment of death and rebirth, often symbolized by a physical or metaphorical transformation. So think of, times, there's been times in my life that I've transformed just like that. And there's been other times that it's been this long, long, long journey. So what was that moment of the transformation? And now it's the return. Now the hero returns home and they are transformed and they're changed by their experience. They're armed with new knowledge and insights that they can use to benefit their community and themselves. Step 12, the freedom to live. The hero achieves a state of freedom and enlightenment in a state of balance and harmony. So know that you don't have to follow all 12 stages of the hero's journey exactly, but you can use them as a guide to structure your story and highlight those key moments. You start by identifying your ordinary world, where you started before embarking on your journey. Then you identify what triggered your journey, the opportunity, the challenge, the crisis that motivated you to change. And after that, consider what held you back, the fears, the doubts, the obstacles that caused hesitation or resistance. You should also identify your mentor who gave you advice, support, and confidence in the action or decision that embarked your commitment to the journey. And as you progress, you're going to encounter more challenges and you're going to arrive in a whole new, beautiful place. I often share the story of when I was 35, I was sitting across the desk from my supervisor, Carol, and tears were streaming down my face. And I was like, Earl threatened to leave me and the kids penniless. I don't know what I would do if he left me. And she looks at me and she's like, Cindy, do you know your life is your choice? I said, what? I thought to myself, you are crazy, lady. There's no way in the world anybody would choose my life. I was with a husband who told me he didn't love me anymore, but was staying with me for the kids. He was making my life miserable. And yeah, there was another woman involved too, naturally. I had experienced almost 10 immediate deaths in my immediate family in the previous 3 years. I had went through a major health challenge and was just starting to be healthy again. And to top it off, my teenage daughter was getting involved in gangs. So who in their right mind would want this life? I was depressed. I was suicidal. I didn't feel that my life was worth anything. I had nowhere to go. I was not in a good, happy place. But Carol took me under her wings. The first thing she did was she bought me Tony Robbins tapes and had me listen to Tony Robbins. She bought me books and she told me books to read. So I started delving into the world of personal development. And after a while, it dawned on me, yeah, my life is my choice. I cannot change all these circumstances, but I can change the way I'm thinking about them. I can change my perception about what all these things mean. And this was a huge transformation. It opened up a whole new world for me. It gave me the courage to leave Earl. It gave me the courage to step out on my own. It gave me the courage to find my current husband that is like the absolutely perfect mate for me. It gave me the courage to start my own business. And none of this would have ever happened had it not been for Carol's love, guidance, and support. So, whenever you think of all these things, what is going on in your life? What has happened in your life that has propelled you to where you are today? So, some tips for crafting your story and some steps. So, let's go with the steps first. Number one, determine the story that you want to tell. So, to do this, you need to make lists and sometimes lots of lists of what are your achievements? What were the challenges that you face and how did you solve them? Who were your mentors that helped you? What did you learn from your achievements and challenges? What's the difference in your life and or your business? And it's really important to articulate your core values. Your personal brand story should align with your values. It needs to align with your personality because this is what's going to create an authentic and genuine narrative for you. Step number two, start with a hook, such as a question or a quote or a statistic or a surprising fact to spark their curiosity. So if you notice the two stories that are more relatable to you are probably I lay in bed crying and then I was crying in my supervisor's office. Okay. So these are the quotes, these are the hooks because this sparks your curiosity. Like, what happened that I was so upset? What emotions did I feel? I shared my emotions, my desperation, my fears, my stresses with you. Step number 4, what's the contrast between your ordinary world and the extraordinary world? So what's the difference? So before with Carol, before I met Carol, I didn't feel I had a reason to live. I felt alone. I was sad. I was depressed. I had no purpose in life. And here it is 30 years later, I have a purpose in life. I have my own fun and profitable business. I have gone on this personal development journey that I'm not even the same person that I was then. And that's a good thing. Step number 5, demonstrate how the journey relates to your audience's needs, goals, and interests. This is so important. Now, the first story I told you about Huffington Post and the last story about Carol, this relates to business. The second one about collecting golf balls and selling them to golfers really doesn't relate to the business. I could get it to relate to business, like whenever you have a business, you need to have a creative mind. However, it's still difficult for you to associate with that because you probably didn't go into the Los Angeles riverbed to collect golf balls. And there wasn't a lot of emotion involved. It was all about wants. I wanted to go swimming. I wanted ice cream. I wanted to play games, right? So it's a little bit different. So, an example of a hero's journey, let's use Oprah Winfrey. Her call was a passion for speaking and connecting with people. And her ordeal was overcoming poverty and societal prejudices. And her elixir was becoming a media mogul who uses her platform for philanthropy and social change. So, some tips whenever you're writing crafting your own compelling brand story is you want to use words, images, or examples throughout to motivate them to take the next step. You want to consider how changing the character allows you to develop different heroes' journeys. For instance, you can craft the story so that you have a client that's the hero, or maybe your customers in general are the heroes. It could be your brand. It could be the founder. It could be a coworker. It could be somebody else in your life that people can definitely connect with on an emotional level. Because the purpose of it is to inspire them to move beyond their existing limitations. You want them to take positive action and move forward from wherever they are now that's keeping them fearful, stuck, lost, bewildered, confused. And you need to know your audience because you're going to tell your story differently to different audiences. Just a few different words are going to make the whole difference in the world. So, whenever you know your audience, you know what emotions you want to entice in them. If you're speaking to a group of high powered men CEOs, you're going to be talking different to them than if you're talking to a group full of moms who want to start their own business. Okay. So know that your stories and know your audience so you can combine them so that your audience relates to your story. And structure your story with a clear beginning, middle, and end. So you want to start with the engaging hook, delve into the challenges you faced, and conclude with your current position and future goals. Also, you can create different lengths of stories. You can have more than one brand story. So, your 15-minute mission, if you choose to accept it, is to create a list of your challenges and how you overcame them. And then next, choose one of them to begin writing your own personal brand story. And lastly, some benefits of having your own well crafted personal brand story is that it reflects your voice, your authentic voice. And whenever you show up with authenticity and you let your personality shine, that allows people to know, like, and trust you. Your story's relatable to your target audience and it humanizes you because you're being a little bit vulnerable by sharing your fears, your feelings, your challenges. And it definitely fosters meaningful connections that you can keep with you for the rest of your life. It empowers your audience to want more, to be more, to have more. And it demonstrates how you can solve their problems. So remember, you can have more than one personal brand story. They just need to be relevant and relatable. You can also craft one story into a 1-minute talk, a 10-minute talk, a 30-minute talk, or even a 60-minute talk. So get a little bit creative, think of your stories and think of the lessons you learned and how these lessons are going to benefit your clients. Tune in next week for another episode of Biz Success in 15. And be sure to visit Visibility Checklist and get your 9-step visibility checklist for more visibility, influence, and profits. That's visibilitychecklist.com. Big hugs, and I'll see you next week.